Why didn't you run for president in 24?
Couldn't get on all 50 ballots. If I could have got on 50 ballots, I
You
would
would've-
have
you would've
done. I would have done it, or I would have been part of a team. Let's just say I would have been part of a team, whether I'd have been the lead or second. It didn't matter. I wanted a team that basically we shall bring the country back together. Somebody who'd been acknowledged, a former Democrat.
Is this a candidacy that would have been designed? What is a timeout for the two parties? Is that sort of?
It would have come in there and basically brought a bipartisan cabinet in that was going to work. People that we knew. By the time you get to this level here, you pretty much know the psychic of all these people, okay? And who's going to be able to work with the other side, not look at him as the enemy. Just somebody, basically, it's your coworker, but you got to figure things out. But you have to have a strong person at the top or a strong team. So the last strong team that we had, I understand that probably the strongest team was under Carter with the Mondale at that time as vice president.
That's an interesting. You go way back then.
I'm going clear back to then. The last time I knew where vice president had some, other than Cheney with Bush.
That's interesting.
But just think if you had somebody coming from a Democrat who was a former Democrat as president and a Republican being a vice president, and both of them could have flipped a coin, whoever's won. But as a team goes in and you respect that team, you set up your cabinet around that. Wouldn't it be something?
Look, there's a comedic movie about I think James Garner and Jack Lemmon are two presidents that try to decide which one of them gets to be at the top of the ticket, and they have this little. You probably would enjoy the movie. I can't remember.
But you asked on that, and they said if they could have gotten 50 ballots, if I could have been able, if I'd have been that person, if I could have been able to have been on this and part of the debates and made the debates, only thing I would say, come on, guys. That's not the way it works.
If Kamala Harris had called you? I know you said she didn't, but had she called you and said, "Joe, help me out. I need to win this. We need to win this election. I think the democracy's at stake. What would you? What could she have done in those 107 days differently to win that election?"
Well, the hard thing with Kamala is I think she finally saw, and maybe her pollsters were showing her from inside, you can't win from where you came from. You can't win being that far left. You can't win it. So then she started coming around to fracking. Had to have energy, okay? She couldn't do it with conviction. So when it got time to explain, you want to go after it, right? You want to know everything. How come you were against it, now you're for it? Well, that means you're going to change your whole energy policies? She couldn't speak to those things. And I guess that's why, we talked one time, she finally called, and I said, I really want to go into some things with you if I could talk to you. She said, we're going to get back, Joe. And that never happened, okay? And then when she said I would get rid of the filibuster, I couldn't take it no more. I said, no.
You think the Republicans are going to end up getting rid of the filibuster?
Well, I've called my friends.
I smell like if Trump tells them to do it, they'll do it.
Well, I don't think so. I got to be honest with you. I could be totally full.
I mean, look what they've already done with blue slips and all these. I mean, you can see it being, and each party chips it away.
The blue slips, yeah.
Each party chips away.
They all do.
Yeah.
But they haven't got into our legislation, getting rid of the filibuster on legislation. What they're trying to do is circumvent it through reconciliation.
Right.
They're pushing the parliamentarian to the point. No, if they challenge the parliamentarian, overrule the parliamentarian, it's all gone. That's worse than getting rid of the filibuster.
Then
and
there is no check and balance.
No, there's no checks and balances. And I've got enough faith and confidence in John Thune and some of his leadership team that'll hunch up. I mean, bow up. No, we're not going to do it. But that's really why Donald Trump and Mitch McConnell basically just fell out.
Right.
Because he kept pushing. I got 54 Republicans.
Right.
Do this for me. Do that for me.
McConnell was protecting the Senate.
And he told me. Yeah. So when McConnell came to me, and the Democrats had it, and they were trying, remember, they almost going to shut things down, and McConnell wanted the deal that you wouldn't get rid of the filibuster. That was part of his deal. And Chuck wouldn't give it to him. Came to me, and I said, don't worry, you got my word. They need my vote. 50-50. They can't get it. Mitch, go ahead and make the deal here. Keep the government open. We're okay.
Who do you see out there that could bring the country together? I
don't know. I mean, you say, I don't know. I think there's some sleepers out there. I think there's people that we don't know, we think, but we're not sure. You start looking, I'm partial to governors because they've had to be executives.
Which governors impress you right now?
Well, Josh Shapiro, and I have my Kentucky, Steve was the father, was my cohort.
You guys were governors together.
We were governors.
Yeah.
And then Andy Bashir was a young person at that time, a very nice person, but I was a little bit surprised thinking that he would move that quick, and he did. God bless him, he's done a good job, but he's been able to navigate in a really, really red area. Almost not quite as red as West Virginia, but parts of Kentucky are. And so he's able to show he has the moxie to get that done. There might be some out there that I don't know about. Gretchen Whitmore, I know, has a desire to do that.
Your place in the Democratic Party, in some ways this isn't new, meaning parties move around. Have the parties outlived their usefulness?
Well, the parties right now are not serving their purpose. I mean, they become a duopoly, a business. It's not about the ideology. It's not, we don't, never once did I hear, in my Democratic caucuses for 15 years, no one talked about the debt of the nation. Went from 13 trillion when I got there to 36 trillion. $108,000 for every man, woman, and child in America. No one's worried about it. What happens when they...
How come the voters aren't worried about it?
Well, no one's talking about it now because we had so much funny money. All they care about is through COVID destroyed us as far as our psyche, who we are. So COVID says, my God, when things are rough like that, the government can do anything. They even sent me money. They were sending me checks. I don't think that FDR sent checks to people. I don't recall. I can't find it. If it happened, he gave them some WPA, CCC camps, this and that. Gave you ability to do something, to get something in return. Okay, we got nothing in return. We just kept sending checks out. $3.2 trillion.
But isn't that,
in the first year.
Wasn't that due to fear of frankly being too tight with money during the financial crisis?
Yeah,
where we didn't help people?
Exactly
I mean, right? Wasn't that the mindset?
That's exactly the mindset. And you know what? It was all bipartisan. In 2020, when February, that we announced that we knew we had a pandemic, and then in March when it was declared, and here we go. Between that March and March of 2021, with everything that was done under the Trump period of time, that 1 year, 3.2 trillion went out the door. Biden comes in. The first thing he does is American Rescue Plan, 1.9 trillion. We run the country on $5 to $5.5 trillion of cash. Okay, we doubled. Basically, what we did is we doubled what we do. We went out 10. We tried to put 10 trillion out within a 1 year period. We can't digest that. The system cannot handle it.
Let me ask you this.
We can't process it.
Why do you think Joe Biden won in 2020? Why do you think the country said, we don't want Trump right now, we want Joe Biden? What do you believe was the reason why Joe Biden won the election?
The people were just, President Trump, what you see on television is not what you see in person. I can tell you that. He's engaging.
Yeah, I know.
He's very
engaging. Yes, he is.
He wants to know, Chuck, what about this? Tell me about this. Give me, you've been there. But now, what you see on television, and people just, enough's enough. I'm wore out.
They got exhausted.
I got, exactly.
Do you think Biden understood why he won?
Oh, I don't think, because when they won 50-50, they thought they had a mandate.
Trump's done the same thing over, he barely, he didn't even get 50%, and he's behaving like a mandate too. Isn't that the problem?
That is the problem, and the bottom line is that basically the people are acquiescent to this and just basically believing whatever's put out and then following along. I said, and I told the president, I went over to him and I said, Mr. President.
Which president are we talking about?
Joe Biden.
Okay.
For the first 2 years, I was the only Democrat that Trump would talk to. Come over and have lunch, come do this, come do that. We talked, we had a good relationship. And we talked about different things, talked about the border, things that could be done there. And he was big on making Mexico pay, which I didn't think was going to work real well, and I haven't seen him pay anything yet. We talked about that. Another idea he had, and we came up with this, why don't you have Mexico build a border on the 138-mile border in the southern, where they choke down. And we can control the South America coming across, and we'll work with Mexico. And we talked about all these things, some good ideas. And so it was engaging, and I like being, I like working with him. Because, and the only thing I told him one time, I said, next time you call me last. I said, I don't know. He said, what do you mean? Just call me last, because I don't know who you talk to last. But that seems to be what happens.
What you're saying is you wanted to be the last person in the room with Trump. Because you feel like if you're, this is
if
the joke. If you're
idea,
the last person in the room, your idea usually has a chance to win.
Because we had some good conversation. I thought were going to happen. What happened? He said, I just didn't materialize, Joe. I said, well, I think it's still a good idea. Let's just, anyway, he's engaging, and people have to understand that. And he's mesmerizing when you get with him. He wants to know. He wants you involved, and he just sucks you in. The only other person I had like that was Bill Clinton.
Right. No,
Really?
I think they're very similar.
Yeah, very similar, engaging.
Yeah.
Okay, and wanted to know and wanted to make. So with that being said, you want to do things, but ma'am, put him on camera. And the only thing I'm saying, Mr. President, please, there's got to be a better angel in all of us, and I know your better angel is floating around right now.
Mm-hmm.
I hope that you let that better angel say, "Oh, I'm President of the United States. I'm the leader of the free world. I've got to calm this down. This is a great country. I want it to be united, not divided."
Why do you think he can't bring himself to do it?
I don't know. I'm really worried. I'm just praying to God because he's the only one right now that can set
You only
the
have one
stage.
president in time, right?
That's it. And, you know, your commander in chief. Well, you got to, you know, I was commander in chief of West Virginia being governor. I had horrible mine disasters. I knew what our problems were. I knew I had to fix them, but I knew one thing. I had families grieving. I had communities grieving. It shut down the whole economy. I had to get them through that. So they would call me comforter in chief. Okay? People need that now. We need a comforter in chief. Donald Trump could be one heck of a comforter.
You know,